The cloud API model is dying on your desk right now. That is not hype. That is arithmetic. For years, OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic have built their entire revenue thesis on one assumption: that the models worth using would always be too large, too hungry, and too complicated for you to run yourself. They needed you stuck on their meters, paying per token, sending your data through their servers, locked into their latency and their rate limits and their ever-changing terms of service. And for a while, that assumption held. But Meta just blew a hole in it the size of a freight train. Llama 4 Maverick dropped in late June 2025 with a mixture of experts architecture, 17 billion active parameters out of a theoretical 128 expert pool, and it benchmarks within spitting distance of GPT-4o on reasoning and code. The part that matters: the community had working GGUF quants inside llama.cpp within 72 hours, and those quants fit in 48 gigabytes of VRAM. 2 consumer GPUs, your machine, your data, 0 API bill. Let me walk you through why this changes everything and why the companies charging you per token appear to be scrambling behind the scenes. Point 1. Mixture of experts routing is the unlock that makes local feasible. Traditional dense models activate every parameter on every token. That is why a 70 billion parameter dense model needs absurd hardware. Maverick is different. Its sparse MOE routing only fires a subset of experts per token, keeping the active compute at around 17 billion parameters, while still accessing the knowledge of the full expert pool. The result is dense model quality at a fraction of the inference cost. On a dual RTX 5080 setup with CUDA 12.8, I am seeing 12 to 15 tokens per second at 4000 context length with Q4KM quantization. That is conversational speed. That is usable. Point 2. Quantization quality at this scale is better than the skeptics predicted. The old knock on GGUF quants was that you lose too much fidelity when you crush big models down to 4-bit precision. And on dense architectures, there was truth to that. But MOE models are structurally more resilient to quantization because the router weights stay at higher precision and the expert weights are already sparse. The perplexity gap between Maverick's full FP16 weights and the Q4KM quant is under 2% on the common benchmarks. 2% for a model that now runs without an internet connection. Point 3. The economics are brutal for API providers. An OpenAI Pro subscription runs you $200 a month. Anthropic's max tier is similar. Over 12 months, that is $2,400. A pair of RTX 5080 cards costs roughly $2,200 total at current street prices. You break even in under a year, and then your inference is free forever. No rate limits. No data leaving your network. No terms of service changes that revoke access to the model you built your workflow around. In my analysis, this is the reason cloud providers have been so aggressive about pushing agent frameworks and tool use ecosystems. They need you dependent on their infrastructure layer even after the raw model becomes a commodity. If you are watching this and realizing the industry has been keeping you on a leash you did not need, subscribe. The people profiting from your ignorance are counting on you scrolling past. Now I know the counterargument. Someone is going to say context length, and that is a fair hit. Running Maverick locally at Q4KM, you are realistically capped at around 8,000 tokens of context before you start swapping or crawling on consumer hardware. The cloud versions offer 128,000 or more. And yes, if your workflow demands huge context windows, RAG pipelines over massive document sets, 100-page contracts in a single prompt, the cloud still has an edge. But here is the dismantle. 90% of actual use cases, coding assistance, chat, summarization, drafting, classification, live comfortably inside 8,000 tokens. The long context argument is real for 5% of users and gets weaponized as a reason for 100% of users to keep paying. That is a marketing strategy, not a technical limitation. So here is where we land. Llama 4 Maverick running locally on consumer hardware is not a toy. It is not a hobby project. It is a direct economic competitor to the subscription tiers that fund the biggest AI labs on the planet. The model is open weight. The tooling is mature. The hardware is available at Best Buy. The only thing keeping most people on cloud APIs right now is inertia and the myth that local means inferior. So I will ask you directly, and I want a real answer. If the model runs on your desk at 98% of the quality for zero ongoing cost, what exactly are you still paying OpenAI for?